this is the longsword. The kind of weapon that Audatia Swords and Marshal Busico might have actually used. Now, they come in all sorts of shapes and sizes, and there was no standard definition of what a longsword was. From looking at the pictures in Fiore's book, we can see swords of varying lengths, usually between something about this size, which comes up to about here on me, up to something a little bit bigger. If I put those two side by side, you can see that this one is just a little bit bigger than that one. But please notice that they are not particularly heavy. Yes? This is perhaps 1.6 kilos, something like that. Now, the sword should be proportional to the man, and we do have some extremely large students in my school, so for some, this is a longsword. It's absolutely gigantic, but it is still reasonably light and manoeuvrable. Now, at some point in this range, it gets to the size where you really have to have two hands on it. And when that happens, we get something like this, which is not a longsword. This is a Zweihander, a two-handed sword, and this is about 150 years too modern for our game. So unfortunately, you won't be seeing mighty beasts like this in the game, because authenticity is the thing we're really interested in. Now, the sword is proportional to the man, and this one was made for me, and there's nothing quite like getting things custom made, is there? I remember going to the smithy where J.T. Palico, known as J.T. Palico to us English speakers, where he was building this for me, and you see that little bulge in the handle? Okay, I went there to test before it was all covered in leather. We discussed exactly where it should be, and when the sword was assembled, he was just checking that it was in exactly the right place. This is actually, by the way, something of a historical joke. This is not authentic. Let me explain why. Okay, the blade on this is made up of 5 bars of pattern welded steel. So iron and steel in layers, twisted and hammered, and you get this absolutely gorgeous pattern, and this is sometimes referred to as Damascus, although it's strictly not. Now, the problem is, blades of this construction stopped being made in Europe sometime in the 12th century. Blades of this shape and size started being made sometime in the 14th century. So what we have here is JT's idea of a little joke. Let's put a 12th century style blade in a 15th century style longsword just for a joke. Now, we do not make that kind of joke in Audatia. We are absolutely, I was about to say anal, and I probably should, about the details. Even the haircuts have been discussed endlessly and at length, despite the fact that the characters are wearing hats. So, the sword, in my head, the sword of Audatia is about this size relative to his body, and it is based on an original which is in Brescia. And I'll be posting photographs of that original on the internet sometime soon, because our dear friend Scott Wilson, who is making the sword of Audatia and the sword of Busico on our higher level perks, went to Brescia recently and took photographs of it and has very kindly sent them to me. So I hope that explains something about the swords that we'll be presenting to you in the game, and thank you for listening.